In the last video, we looked at making a flat plate and then putting a slot in the plate. So in this one, we'll use that structure that we made previously, and we'll look at rounding the corners. We notice that we have sharp corners. Maybe we want to round off the corners a little bit, and also we'll show how to create some holes in that plate if desired. So here we have the plate from last time, and the first thing that we'll do is look at these corners and say they're very sharp. We don't want anybody to get cut on them, so we're going to see if we can round these corners off. So one way to do that is to select the Edge Bend tool up in the ribbon bar. Click on it, and it will present us with a dialog box. Basically, we select a radius. I'm going to use 1 millimeter, and we select an edge, and we do that, and we select the edges that we want to round off. Just go and highlight the edge. You see how it turns red. Click on it, and each edge that we highlight will be rounded. These corners too, and these down here. And so now we say OK, and you can see that we have rounded the edges. We can again use the scroll wheel on the mouse bar to round in and look more closely at what we've just done. Okay, so now we've rounded the edges. Maybe we decide we'd like to put a couple holes in here. Let's just say at some point we'll say maybe 20 meters from this this edge. We want 20 millimeter down, and we want a couple holes that are 5 millimeters wide, positioned evenly spaced. So we'll do again, go back to our sketch, select this surface to sketch on, say OK. And so I think I said we're going to go back 20 millimeters. So again, I'll draw a construction line. We'll start at this point and go back 20 millimeters at an angle of 0, because that gives us a horizontal line. And then we click enter again to finish off that line. And so I want them evenly spaced, and we remember that the thickness or the width of this is 30 millimeters. So we'll go down 10 millimeters from this edge. Select the endpoint and go down, we'll say 10 millimeters, and we want 270, and so we'll click enter for 10, enter for 270, and now I've just located the center point for the first hole I'm going to make, and so I can highlight this point and create another construction line and go down another 10 millimeters. Type in 10 with an angle of 270, and so now I can see the two center points that I'm going to have for my circles. I click X to get rid of the line tool, and I'm going to make this circle, we'll say 5 millimeters in diameter. So I'm going to hover over the endpoint, wait for the three dots, click. It allows me to select the endpoint to make sure I've got the right point. And we're going to say, let's make it 3 millimeters so they don't overlap. Let's say we have a diameter of 3 millimeters, and so there's one hole, and I'll come down here and click on the other endpoint and say 3 millimeters again. Click OK, and so now I've drawn two circles. I haven't created any holes yet. We'll X out of this tool, and now all we want is to have these two circles. We want to get rid of everything else because we're going to extrude these circles and subtract them from the basic plate. So we'll come up here and select the Quick Trim tool and start getting rid of the construction lines that we drew that we don't need anymore. So again, we just hover over the line, left click, hover, wait for it to highlight, left click, and hopefully we've got them all. And So now we'll close that tool. Looks good. Say finish the sketch. And now we'll take the extrude tool, select that by left clicking, select the curve, highlight on one circle, it selects the whole sketch. And as a matter of fact, I hovered long enough, it's going to give me a choice to make sure that I want that sketch. So I do in fact want it. I click on the sketch. And the only thing left for me to do now is to make sure that the extrusion is heading in the right direction, that it's going through the, uh, the plate. I've got subtract already selected. If I didn't, I would pull down on this menu bar by left clicking it and selecting subtract. Click OK. And now I've put 2 holes into the plate at the points where I wanted them to be. So I hope this helps and that you enjoy your future endeavors with NX10.